when you're in the how do you prepare?
The secret is hard work, being always very disciplined, trying to keep every day your routine. Always trying to keep relaxed. And as we are here, like always, the day of the audition, you have to work under pressure. So you have to also practice to be under pressure.
When you're in the how do you prepare?
The secret is hard work, being always very disciplined, trying to keep every day your routine. Always trying to keep relaxed. And as we are here, like always, the day of the audition, you have to work under pressure. So you have to also practice to be under pressure.
When you're in the
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brass Beat Podcast. I hope today's conversation is easy between us because we are used to talking in Spanish. And we could even talk in Valencian. I have to say today there is a little disadvantage between us because he has a glass of wine and I only have water, which means that is not fair. So, how are you, Vicente?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Ricardo, for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here and to be part of this series of podcasts you are doing. And I appreciate very much that I can be here, and I'm fine. I'm doing.
So, for those of you who don't know Vicente, he is now principal trombone in the Bern Symphony Orchestra in Switzerland. He has also been playing lately in the Santa Cecilia Symphony Orchestra in Italy for a period. But one of the main reasons he's here is because, I met him when we were teenagers. I think we did a couple of competitions together in Sativa, in Valencia. And, he went to Madrid, I went to Alicante. But from one year to another, like, I started to hear things from Vicente, like, Vicente is winning this in Munich, Vicente is winning this in Bern. Like, he became suddenly an audition killer.
I just changed my diet.
Yeah. So not too much McDonald's, I guess. So later we will talk about that. So Vicente, can you tell us a little bit about your background? Where are you from? Like, are your
Well,
family musicians? Just tell us a little bit about your childhood.
well, I'm from, as you said, I come from Spain, from Valencia, from a city near Valencia. It's about 40 minutes. The city is Carcaixent, and yeah, I mean, I started to play trombone when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and probably my first teacher is watching us. I think Agusti. I don't know if you're here, but
Agustin,
you.
yes, Agustin is saying in the chat, "Hola Vicente, estic am tu," which means,
Okay, okay.
"Hello Vicente, I'm with you."
Yeah. And I just wanted to, first of all, say to Agus, he has been a reference for so many trombone players, and he will be a reference for new generations. I just want to say thank you, like here, because he has been a big part of all our life in the musical aspect, and also like not in the musical also. And as I said, I come from a little town near Alcira. I don't know if you can situate it geographically better if I say Alcira, but it's just the town next to Alcira and also near to Xàtiva, as you said, the competitions we did when we were young, when I had hair.
Yes. No worries, man. I will tell you a secret. I will tell you a secret that I have
You
regarding.
also changed your diet, right?
Yes, I also changed my diet. You know, uh, sometimes you change your diet to lose weight, and I did that, but suddenly my hair grew.
Yeah.
It was a diet I learned from some Turkish guys, and I will recommend it to you later. Okay, so you say you are from Carcaixent near Valencia. You started to in contact with trombone with Agustin.
Yeah.
Did you always want to be a professional musician, or it just happened?
Well, at the beginning, everything starts as a hobby, something that you do because your family probably wants to get rid of you in the afternoon. And some families, they bring their kids to the karate, they bring their kids to football, tennis, swimming.
And probably because we are in a region where the classical music and especially the brass band or wind band tradition is it's very dominant. Let's say my family brought me to the wind band school, Escuela de Música de Carcaixent, Lira y Casino Carcaixentí, that I also would like to say thank you for everything they gave me and all the opportunities. And so everything starts like, as a hobby, and then becomes a little bit more serious, doing like some regional competitions and of course we also did the academy with the Spanish brass and Carlos Gil and this kind of thing. So everything starts to be a little bit more serious and then becomes part of our life, and then suddenly or luckily it's our job, in also our profession, and I think this is the journey everyone that we are in the music business are in.
And at some point, you started to work also in the Aula de Trombone in Valencia.
Yeah.
For those who are not from Spain, for many years, and it is still working nowadays, there was an academy called Aula de Trombone where Carlos Gil and also Indalecio Bonet were teaching. And most of the people who studied there, like kind of that generation, most of them are now working in different orchestras. We have Juan San Juan, he's principal trombone in the orchestra, in the symphony orchestra in Madrid. Now you are in Bern, going around the world. We have also Miguel García Casas, he's in Germany.
Adrian Castro.
Adrian Castro. So what do you think in terms of technique? What do you think that was the secret of that academy that made us kind of start from the beginning within the good path,
Well, I think it was the balance between having two teachers, and in a way two different teachers, and in a way two same teachers, because they were very similar but very different. So that, and also they opened many doors to us. So they were not trying to protect their academy as this is mine and I just want you to be with me. They were bringing teachers from all over the world. I remember, I think at least 3-4 times a year we had 2 or 3 teachers like as a guest. Like we had the brass around Turin, we had the Spanish brass Alcira, and every time they brought different teachers. And that's also my idea right now. Like if someone wants to study, practice with me or learn something from me, I just say, okay, this is what I do, but you also should listen or go to study here or do this or try to get good things from this teacher and I think this thing helped us a lot, and I think we also had like good connection. Also you, Ricardo, I think you also in 1 year you were like like
yeah, my hair grew.
No. I remember perfectly. We were in the Spanish brass Alcira, and Carlos Gil was doing like a warm-up session in the morning, 9:30. I remember he always wanted to start 9:30.
Yes.
And we start 9:30, and then we are like warm up, and then between the exercise, so he talk a little bit. Okay, guys, you have to do this like this, and then we listen. Carlos was like, "Oh, who is playing?" And someone said, "Yeah, this is Ricardo. He's rehearsing for the recital, this afternoon." And he was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, he is playing very well."
Not really.
Yeah, man. I still remember that recital.
Those were the older times, By the way, Vicente, before we continue, I don't want to be annoying during the interview, always telling the chat to subscribe. But you see, we are almost 70 people and there are only 17 likes. That is not possible. So first of all, I encourage you all to subscribe, to share this so more people can get access to this interview, so we can listen to Vicente experience. As I said, he's an audition killer, so I'm sure we're gonna learn from him. And also feel free to visit Vicente Climent social media, and you know, he's as he said, he's also teaching. So maybe if at some point you want to contact him and you know, and learn from a closer perspective, that's a good idea. So when did you decide, okay, I'm gonna move to Madrid, I'm gonna go there, and why Madrid?
Well, before we go to Madrid, I just want to also say that I had a very good experience in Carcaixent, in the Conservatorio Mestre Ver de Carcaixent with Daniel Jimeno. He did an amazing job with us, and from here I'm very thankful to him, and honestly, he did a very good job. Also recommending to go to the Aula de Trombone with Carlos Gil and Inda, you know, and every time is the same, you know, the door is open to learn and to have new perspectives and to have also different teachers. Okay.
No, but do you think that that's important? I mean, do you think that it's important that teachers are kind of flexible? Because sometimes we can see certain teachers that maybe their intention is good, but they say, no, if you study with me, you're only going to do what I say.
Well, I think we are all different. So it's like, you know, it's like, I think as a teenager, for example, you try to have like this group of friends, no? And maybe doesn't work. Then you can have another group of friends, like friends in common. And I think as a student, I think you have to also try to get different teachers, to have also different perspectives, and to have also different connections, because not every people gives you the same connection. So with this, I'm saying that some people connect more with you and some people connect less. Some people gives you good vibes, some people gives you, I don't know, different things. And I think if we don't try, then we don't know. And I think it's worth it to at least try. And if I would have a kid, I would bring him to different teachers, and then I think he would have different opinions, and I think it's better.
Yeah, because sometimes we think that whatever works for us, it's gonna work 100% for another person, and maybe what you're saying is true. Like you need somebody who says hello, somebody who punches you in the face. No, not that, but somebody who really gives you another perspective of things.
Diversity, I think, makes someone complete, and I think we all have to learn so much from different people, I think. And also one thing that I don't know why, like brass people always have lessons, like for example trombone players, we always want to have lessons with trombone players. And I don't know why, because you know, in the theater, for example, I learned so much from singers, from oboe players, from violinists, from guitar players, you know, guitar or piano players, you know. And I think it would help a lot to many people if they would have another perspective, like for example singers.
Do you think you can also learn from viola players?
Well, yes.
No, I'm just kidding. And do you regularly take lessons or play for non-trombone players?
Yeah, I normally play for non-trombone players. This is first of all. And I think the last people I play for is trombone players, I think.
Those trombone players.
First of all,
no, but it's true.
First of all, I recommend from here, like, to play, first of all, for your family. This is the most and the honest, the most honest
feedback.
advice. yeah, also like they can give you like that, they can say the truth, like, okay, this sounds good, or this sounds like, okay, maybe you need to practice this or that, or or maybe this was too loud.
No, that's true. That's what I was gonna say. And so let's go back to your period pre-college. When did you decide? Okay, I'm gonna be a professional musician, and I wanna go to Madrid. Why Madrid?
Well, I applied for three different schools, and at the end, I end up being very lucky and being very, I don't know. I had the big chance to go to Madrid and to study with one of the best musicians, and I'm not going to say trombone player because I think he's first a musician, and I think second trombone player is Elias Hernandez, and I was very, 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 very lucky to be with him and to be surrounded with the whole musical world that exists in Madrid. Is like the Radio Television Orchestra of Spain, the Orquesta Nacional de España, Orquesta de la Comunidad de Madrid, Sinfónica de Madrid, and also having good teachers in Madrid that helped me and I don't know how to say, like they inspired me to grow up as a musician, and they kind of forced me to like practice and do this and do that and learn English, and you have to do this and that. And
So,
and
Vicente, of course, now we're gonna go in a few minutes to that point where you grew up so much within a year. When you were studying the first year, for example, in Madrid, and of course you started to work with Elias, what do you think that were your weaknesses back then that you hadn't solved yet? Why do you think back then you weren't already a complete musician as you are now?
well, for me, Ricardo, I still nowadays try to figure out how to be able to do a recital as you did in the Spanish branch, like to play raw parts, to play the Carmen, to play the Donal Elastics, to play this, to play that, and being so musical, being so strong musically and like technically also. I'm still nowadays like trying to get how to do this, because as you said, probably I practice more for the audition stuff, or like for example, the Ferdinand David and the orchestral excerpts, or this stuff, or probably I found also my way, like into the orchestral life, because I love to listen this symphony, and I love to listen this version with this conductor this year, and I'm like a freak about this, no? And probably I didn't focus that much into the solo repertoire or into the solo career. It could be also, but I'm still nowadays still like I'm trying to learn new pieces.
So you would say that the problem that you have back then is the same as your goal nowadays. Like
Nowadays,
you know about what you said, that I was doing recitals back then. I think back then I didn't care about how pure the sound is every time, or how is my articulation at every single moment.
yeah,
I was trying just to be spontaneous. So maybe when you do a recital, it's hard, and you have to accept that it's gonna be difficult to maintain the same level that you can do, for example, when you are practicing excerpts.
yeah,
Like you have to give maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to give yourself a margin of acceptance where you say, okay, this is not gonna sound perfect, but that's not my goal. My goal is to be musical. Maybe that was what I was thinking back then, or I think nowadays. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think you did pretty well, to be honest.
So, when things started to change for you, because I remember, as I said, well, just tell me before we go there, just tell me a little bit about your experience in Madrid. How were your 4 years there? What did you learn? What did you like about the city? How were how
Well,
was the connect? How was the environment with the rest of the class? Because we know many of them are already teaching here and there.
well, I remember at the beginning was difficult, because I left my hometown when I was 17, 18, I think. And I remember like hard moments, like living like in the train station, going to Madrid with my whole family was there to say goodbye, almost every week.
No.
So
Yes.
that made it even harder, because it was like, oh my God, now it's time to go, and it was like it's a difficult moment for me, but then once I was in my flat, then the school started, and with the colleagues I had a very good class, wonderful colleagues. Imbroda Waezu Imbroda, I don't know if he's
Yes.
watching, but if not,
Miguel Galdón also.
Miguel Galdón, also Miguel García Casas, Ricardo Rodríguez,
Juanjo from my
Juan
hometown.
also.
I had a coffee with him today.
Yeah, Elani.
Elani, not Elani, but another bar. Because,
Okay.
well, this is just a little break. Vicente was last year in the Numskull Brass Festival in Spain. It's a festival that I organize annually. And he was here, and I saw him bakery, a place where you can buy sweets and you can have breakfast. And he was so amazed that I think he bought €1,000 in in sweets or something like that. Instead of investing in Bitcoin, you invested in Laani. That's the name. If any of
Yeah.
you come to Caudete, Laani is the place you need to
You
have
have to
breakfast.
visit.
And yeah, just so how was during these 4 years? Did you feel that you were improving year by year or?
Well, as I said, the first year was probably the most chaotic one,
Mhm.
and we were very young, and probably we were more like partying than practicing, I would say.
Good, good.
I cannot say the opposite thing, but and so the first year went really fast. We were like partying, and everything is new, so you discover everything. And then I remember the second year, I started, and Elias was like, okay, you have to work on this, you have to probably do this. I remember I had like a big, big, big thing about like my amateur, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
Okay.
And he told me like, okay, try this or try that, and step by step, I was probably changing my amateur, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
or probably developing a new way of playing, if this
Okay.
sounds more nice to
Accurate.
some.
Okay.
And I remember that step by step, it was. I had a period where the things were harder to play, where the things were more difficult, where I had to work my ass
Mm-hmm.
off. Probably, I had
Yes.
to, I had to really work, and step by step, everything went better and better and better. And I remember I don't remember exactly what audition was like for a young orchestra, or I exactly don't remember for what was it. I think it was La Honde.
La
I think
Honde.
it was the young orchestra of Spain. And but back then I was also studying with Matamoros, Juan Carlos Matamoros, and Jordi Navarro,
Mm-hmm.
also in Madrid. And they wrote me, okay, the audition will be like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. And I wrote, and I was like, I still remember the place I was. I was in Spain, of course I was in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Madrid. Sorry.
Okay.
I was in my hometown in Carcassonne, and I remember I wrote them. I'm not sure I can do this. Like I mean, like changing
Like
some stuff,
a
and I'm not
crazy, a
sure.
crisis period.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, I'm not sure I will be there. And they were
Mhm.
like, oh, come on, you have to do it. Okay, so, and I said, okay, I do it. And I remember perfectly, like a period later, not so much longer, probably, I don't know, a month or something like this, was another young orchestra audition. I don't remember which one,
Mhm.
but I remember from being not able to play, I was like on fire. I was like, everything worked. Everything was like working. I could play everything.
Mhm.
And
And
I thought, sorry,
what do you think that changed that much during that period? Maybe the way of breathing, or what? What?
I
What do
think
you
it
think?
was a combination of everything. It was like a combination of a way of playing, a way of also breathing. I think was more the way of playing, the position you play,
Mhm.
the also how you practice. Because sometimes we only practice to feel good, you know. We
Mhm.
practice to like, okay, I sound good. Oh, it sounds good. Oh, I have a good sound. No, sometimes I practice and I sound like shit. I sound, and I'm not afraid to sound like shit because I'm practicing.
Mhm.
You know, I'm. Some people say no. When I practice, I execute, I perform, I play a concert.
Mhm.
Me not. When I practice, I'm practicing. Sorry, I'm like developing. I'm working on something.
Mhm.
I'm cleaning something. And this is what I think I learned with Elias. I think he showed me like, look, this exercise, I'm practicing this and I'm doing this because I'm working on this and that and that, and I'm not focusing on this or the other thing. I don't know, Ricardo. I think something changed. I developed a way of playing that nowadays I still have. I think it's it's difficult to say amateur, two amateurs, three amateurs, four, five, 15.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly how many, but I
Do you have different shifts?
well, I I can have certain register all connected,
Mhm.
but depending what I have to play, we are getting very technical already.
Yes. No, no. We're gonna go later there. If you want, you can answer this briefly. But by the way, for those of you who have specific questions, for example, about technique, uh, feel free to ask in the chat because later we will address uh, all of them. I know some people is complaining about the fact that this is in in English, but you know, this is a way we can spread the word of people like Vicente to every part in the world, and I think that is worthy. So let's go to the next step in your life. You finish your studies in Madrid, and then
Yeah.
I have the impression that from then on,
Well,
that development. Well, yes.
well, during my second year, I remember Elias and our piano correpetition. I don't know the name in English, but auf Deutsch is piano accompaniment, I think.
Mhm.
Cheeky. Um, they told me, look, you have to do this Erasmus program. I think you have to apply for this and you should do that. And I was like, no way. You know, I don't want to go outside from like my country. You know, I need to go every weekend to my hometown. I need to see my family. I need to like be in Carcassonne. And they were like, no, come on, you have to do this. And I was like, okay, do it. Fine, I do it. I mean, I did it, and I remember I had to do like an English test. I did like a recital, and they did like after you know
Did you
after
do the recital in English as well?
well
Oh, sorry.
no, and then you know I didn't get into the list, so I was like the first reserve. You know,
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
And then a week later, a girl canceled. And then I had the opportunity to apply for the Erasmus program. So I call Elias immediately. Okay, what do we do? Where do I apply? What should I do? And then we organized a little bit, and we saw the possibilities. And I applied. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was Vienna, Salzburg, and Berlin. Or I'm not sure because it's many years ago, and I'm not. But you know, he had a good relation with Dany Bonvin because he came many times to Madrid to do master class, and especially in Madrid. And he said, I think it will be a nice opportunity. I remember perfectly, he said, you have to go to Salzburg. This is like city center of Europe. You are connected with everywhere, Vienna, Switzerland, Germany, Italy. And I think it will be good. Okay, so I record something, you know, I played, I don't know, I sent one piece we played in Shativa, you know, Kroll. And
yeah. Capriccio.
yeah, Capriccio da camera. And I record Tomasi with Chiki in Madrid, and I sent the DVD, you know. My father was like doing DVD, you know, with the printing and everything. And I sent it, and then I woke up one morning and I had a Facebook message, and he was like, hello, Vicente, I would be very happy if you come to study with me. I was like, what? Dany Bonvin, you know, like Facebook Messenger. Not
I
even.
thought you were gonna say Christian Limber. No, but that.
Well,
Wow.
but still, you know,
No,
like
of
for
course.
me it was like, you know, and I apply immediately. Okay, I'm very happy. I would do everything possible, you know, because I also had to organize things in Madrid and also my family, you know, and for me it was like a big thing. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So you went there to Salzburg. By the way, you said that one girl canceled, and then you had the opportunity to go. Do you think if that girl had never canceled, maybe your life would be
Would be totally different, I think.
totally different? No, but those little things sometimes are so important. So maybe this is a good message for young students that maybe if they think that they don't have an opportunity, it can be in Erasmus or in a competition or anything. Maybe sometimes it's good to do a step forward and just try it, and then these things can happen.
Yeah, I say the same, Ricardo. I think these little details can make a big difference in our lives or in the future, I would say.
No, that's for sure. So during your first year with Dany Bonvin, sorry, what do you think that you learned the most from him? And can you link that with the fact that you won the academist position in Munich Philharmonic, which is kind of a dream? I remember when people told me, Vicente Climent won the academy position in Munich Philharmonic. I was like,
What?
Vicente Climent, and then you started to. So just let's go step by step. Just how was your experience
Well,
there?
the experience was like, I would say, and probably I'm gonna talk slower because probably I talk too fast.
No. You're doing fine.
Um, you know, Salzburg, it's a very inspiring city, I would say. It's the city of Mozart. For if someone doesn't know, this is where Mozart lived and was born. And the university is called Mozarteum. And just from this, uh, you are like inspired musically 24/7, 24 hours during 7 days for many days, you know. And I remember I was very lucky to be able to be like in the Mozart Studentenwohnheim. That means I was accepted to live in the residence of the Mozarteum or university. So basically, the like many students that study in a Mozarteum, they can live. Also, they have a building, and we were living there, and all these things were new for me. Like I came from Madrid, a big city. You come into a small city, full with musical influences. I remember, Ricardo, that they open. I don't remember exactly the time, but probably at 8. And I remember I can't. I was like waiting, in the main door, like I wanted to practice.
Yeah.
At 8. And then I went inside, and there was already people there practicing. Like I don't
Why
know.
people wake up early in the morning?
I don't know how they did it, but they were like all lights open, practicing with piano players. I thought these people they slept here and they are practicing the whole night.
Didn't that happen in Madrid? Or
Was different, let's
okay,
say.
okay. So, and regarding Dany Bonvin, what do you think that? How did he help you to grow as a musician?
Well, Dany had and have a lot of experience in the musical life and orchestral life, and he's like a figure. I don't know how to say in English figure,
Figure.
but like that can also like inspire so many people. Also from here, I don't know if he's watching, but if he's watching, I just want to say thank you for everything you did, and I'm still nowadays very thankful. So he showed me like the musical way to play to be like let's say correct in every aspect to be successful in an audition. Like how to play in an audition means you have to play for an oboe player, you have to play for a violin, you have to play for the contrabass, you have to play for the tuba, for the trumpet, for the percussionist, and for the conductor. So you have to be like complete. And I remember he helped me a lot, and I remember he told me like, look, you came here to practice, you came here to improve, so don't sleep.
Yes. Good. That's a good advice for young students. Never sleep.
No, but like sometimes we can be lazy, or we can be like, oh, I will do this, or I have time, or I'm very young, or things will happen. No, if you can do something, do it now. Don't wait until tomorrow, okay? And he helped me a lot. And then I remember 5 or 6 months later, he said, look, we have an opening for the academy position with us in the Munich Philharmonic. By the way, I remember before that, we used to meet Saturdays, Sundays in the Mozarteum and play with him the excerpts, He was like, okay, come and we play this and that. So we met 4 or 5 students and we were playing. And
what a nice practice room, like
Yeah.
to practice in that hall.
It was cool, and then he said, look, we have this opening, and I would like you to prepare the auditions, and I think you could do it. I said, okay, like until then I didn't do audition basically. So I practiced a lot. I practiced a lot with a mirror, and I practice and practice and practice, and then I won the academy. And then I remember I was there. Also, I had the huge opportunity to work with David Rejano,
Principal trombone of LA Phil. By the way, there is a very interesting podcast with David Rejano, and you can check it out in this channel. And sorry, before you tell me your experience in Munich, one of the questions I wrote down, because I think it can be interesting. You said you have just said that you didn't do many
auditions before. Maybe you did a few young orchestras, and suddenly you went directly to play with the Munich Philharmonic. So, through the years, have you changed the way you planify an orchestra, the way you face how you're gonna play, how you're gonna work on your daily basis for an orchestra?
Well,
Audition?
you mean like how do I organize my practice sessions, or how do
Yes.
I organize my... Yeah, I mean it's totally different than preparing a recital. This is for sure. And as you said before, you have to be very how can I describe this? Because if I say,
Maybe even like always the same quality, right?
well, I would say you have to be disciplined, you know, you have to be clean, you have to be you have to like and love excellence. You have to try to find a way that is not about the end, it's the process that drives you to the goal, you know. This is, we will never finish, we are never ready, you know, it can always be better. So this process that brings us into the next step is what makes us grow as a musicians and technically. And this is what I discovered, that okay, I'm gonna work on my sound. Okay, how is my sound, and for who is my sound? Because I can have a very good sound but just for trombone players, we don't want that. You know. Or how is my articulation? Is my articulation as good as a timpani player? Or is my articulation as a violin? Or my legato?
And
You know,
Tico,
and
well, sorry, finish.
no, I was just saying this, you know. So I discovered that for me, this is what gives me like, I feel very, very, very happy doing this job. I enjoy practicing and developing my technical skills to get every time better in all aspects, you know.
And Tico, well, can I call you Tico? So yeah, because uh, so when you practice for different auditions and different styles, do you change drastically between styles or not really? Like you do?
Well, honestly, you have to know that there is like a basic things that you should know stylistically how to do. And this is like very standard. Like, for example, Tuamirum has to be played in a certain way. Bolero has to be played in a certain way. William Motel, you know, there's like things that we have to know. Like, this is basic. And honestly, I don't change, or I didn't change. I say I didn't because I didn't do an audition since 2 years, since 2019. So I didn't change like my way of playing. I always try to keep my personality and to give what I have inside. And you know, we do our bread and we try to sell our bread. And some people doesn't like it. That doesn't mean that other people likes, you
Of
know.
course. Yeah, I remember having a conversation with Jael Fiuza. He's trumpeting Deutsche Oper, and he was saying that sometimes when you play in an audition, even if you play your best version, sometimes it doesn't mean that you're gonna win. And he was comparing that with like personal relationships. So maybe you have I don't know, maybe you are a very nice person, but you are not good enough for another person because you're
Yeah.
not, how do you say?
We are not good for everyone, you know, and you
Yes.
can be friends with everyone, you know. Some people are gonna like you, some not, and you cannot fight against this because this is naturally, we are like this.
Of course.
And
And Vicente, so we are gonna talk, of course, about orchestral auditions where you succeed, and nowadays, like winning different orchestras positions is not easy. Just winning one is complicated. Imagine doing what you did, or for example, what David Rejano has done, or people like that. But I would like to ask you, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I wanted to ask you about, I was also living in Malaysia, and suddenly some people told me, Vicente Climent is in the final for Vienna Philharmonic, So there was a position in Vienna Philharmonic, and, I actually did that audition twice, but many years ago. So I think they did that like maybe 1,000 times, and they hired nobody. So man, can you tell me a little bit how was that audition, and if you could do it again nowadays, what would you change, or what do you think, or maybe there was anything wrong? It was just let me know, because it's so complicated to get into a finals like that.
I would say, it was like a dream for me to be or to play in the Vienna, or the Vienna Philharmonic. In this case, is the Vienna States Opera. And Dany told me, look, there's this audition happening, and I think you should take this audition. So I prepared this audition, but as you said, probably what would I change? I think I was too young, I think I was 22 when I was in the final round with Enzo Turizzani. And I was 22, with 22 years old, I honestly now, and I don't have a lot of experience also right now, but I think I was too young, and with 22 years old, it's not possible to lead a section where they play opera every night, where they do 60, 70 different operas during a year. And I think we have to understand that jobs like this requires people with experience, and playing in an orchestra is not just saying I'm a principal trombone of this orchestra. It's saying, look, I know how to play the repertoire, and I know I have this experience, and I would love to offer to the orchestra and to the group my experience. And you have to be able to understand that, I think I was too young, and I think it was a very good audition, a nice audition, the feeling going through the Gustav Mahler hall, and like with the whole orchestra, the philharmonics, like there, and clapping,
But were you in the hall, or
we were in the State Opera, but we were in a hall that is behind. I think this place is huge, so I don't know exactly if it's behind. It's a hall called Gustav Mahler, I think, and we were there, and I remember, this audition were full with big names. Was like, I don't know, we were 30 people. Were many big names in this audition.
Yes.
And
I remember.
For 22 years old, that you play first round and you go through the second round, and then big names suddenly are out, and then you are like, oh my god, what is this, and then you play second round, okay, we want to listen third round, semifinals, 3 guys in the semifinals, and then you play, and then 1 hour later they say, okay, another round, these 2 guys, now you play without screen. Then I was very young, I didn't know the whole repertoire, and I think things happen for a reason, and I'm very happy and very lucky to be where I am nowadays, and I'm
many people ask questions through social media, and I usually tell them at the end of the interview, before I tell you one of these questions, because I think it's it has to do a lot with what you're saying right now. I want to say that many people is writing things in the chat
Like people is saying that we are gold, that you are a diamond, like oro no diamantes. People is saying son dos grandes músicos y geniales. We have many people from your hometown, from Carcassent, because people is mentioning that a lot. Later we will go through all these comments, like people say grande tico, desde España y de la mejor tierra valenciana te saludamos, which means from Spain, from the best Valencian field, we say hello. So people is so happy to see you. We are actually 72 people. Like, this is awesome. Feel free to support this channel. 72 people.
Is talking about Tico. Can you tell us about your dream job? Oh my God,
Yes.
Chris, you already know that.
Okay. Do you want to say that? Like,
Well,
I wanted to ask you that, but
well, I think you wanted to ask me something about the Vienna
no,
thing, right?
but now that you brought that up, let's answer this question.
Well,
Which is Tico's dream job?
my dream job is to be every day a better person, to be every day a better musician. No,
Come
honestly.
on, okay.
Oh, no.
Now you're playing with me. No.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, I think things come for a reason, and I think our best goal should be to try to be every day better, to look out ourselves into the mirror and to be honest, and to try to be better, I would say, because this life is not everything about job, you know. And as you said, you know, like my family has been and had go through many things, many difficulties, and many things that I don't want to mention here,
Yes, I
but
know. Okay.
that are very important. And I think the goal for everyone should be do what you love, do it as good as you can, and good things will come automatically.
Okay, so Vicente, I'm not gonna ask you again which is your dream job. I'm just gonna ask you something a little bit different.
Maybe I should drink a little bit more.
Yes. Can you tell me which are your 5? Okay, of course, apart from Bern Symphony, which is an awesome orchestra.
Yeah.
But apart from Bern, which are your 5 favorite orchestras? Maybe because of the city or because of.
Well, I personally like, for example, I would mention 5, but this doesn't mean that this I say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
But you know, I feel very attracted to the American orchestras, and I feel very attracted, for example, to the Chicago tradition, I have to say. I feel very attracted to New York tradition. I feel very attracted to Cleveland, for example. I feel very attracted to Berlin. I love how they play and the tradition that they have. Munich Philharmonic also. Concertgebouw. Vienna Philharmonic, of course. Oslo Philharmonic. This is a very good orchestra, you know. I was listening, I think, Heldenleben, and they sounded great, man.
Like Scandinavian orchestras are.
They are
Awesome.
very good, very good. And I would say, you know, it's hard to say this would be my dream job, but I feel very attracted to these orchestras, I would say.
Okay. Maybe after the chat we talk about. But yes, I agree. Those are great orchestras. But you know, the more we drink wine and the more I drink water, you know, the questions can get a little bit funnier. Okay, so in between all these auditions, you won a position in Bern,
Yeah.
in one of the best orchestras in Switzerland. And can you tell us a little bit how was that audition? And also a question according to related to this job position that you won. How do you think
a student, I usually ask this, but how do you think a musician who is within a trial period needs to behave in order to match in one section?
Well, first of all, I would start with the Bern Symphony Orchestra audition. At that time, I was practicant in Munich. Sorry, we had a fantastic dinner with Sergio and my girlfriend. That was great. At that time, I was practicant in Munich, and I remember the trombone section in Munich, David and Dany, and the trombone section, they were like, look, Tico, you have to practice for an audition and you have to apply, you know. I had the position, the academy was for 2 years. So I was like, you know, first year, I was like, okay, you know, first year you take it easy, you know, and then second year, okay. And they were like, no, you have to apply. You have to send your Lebenslauf, you have to send your CV, and you have to organize yourself. And I was like, okay, good. So we sat down and we were like, with the schedule, we were, okay, musical chairs and music, I don't know, at that time, it was already MUVAC at that time.
MUVAC, yes.
So, you know, and okay, September, October this, November, December, we plan a little bit the year with the auditions. And the first one was Bern, you know. So I remember I was playing Tchaikovsky 4 in Munich that week. Mm-hmm. And after every rehearsal, I was playing, you know, for the horn section, for the trombone section, for the trumpet section, for my teacher. You know, I remember we finished one concert and he was teaching me with a beer, you know, after the concert was like, no, this is not in time. You know, if you play like this, no. And I remember this, you know, so I was practicant in Munich. I took a bus, you know, because it was cheaper, you know, and you know, as you are a student, you have to try to save money. So I took a bus, Munich, Bern, and I arrived to Bern, and the first thing was like, oh my God, this is a nice city, you know, a small. Bern is characteristic because it has these streets in the city center that are covered, you know, like it's like a, I don't know how to say in English, but you can walk through the whole city without being outside, basically. And I remember I was invited for the Vorprobespiel, so the pre-audition, and the pre-audition was in the theater, and we played Grondal, first movement, and Gazzaladra, and something else. So we played, and then I think was only just one round. Then they say, okay, for tomorrow we have 7 people, this, and this. Please, 9:30, be there. Okay, good, you know. I was like, good. It's already positive, no? And then I remember I didn't have a hotel, you know, for that night. Because, you know, I didn't have hotel. I was like, you know, I only reserved for the first night because I thought, you know, I go and play, maybe they don't like, and then I go to Munich, I come back. So I was like 7:30 in the afternoon, like
you were looking for a park. So you can.
No, but you know, I had to take a hotel like that the same night, and luckily I booked a hotel next to the casino. It was in the concert hall, and the next day 9:30 we start the Probespiel, you know, the audition. I think we were 50 people, and I was number 35. I remember perfectly. We played first round. We played Grondal, the first movement, the first page. Mm-hmm. And then we wait, then second round, and then the second round, I want to say this, the second round, we were probably 7 people, and after we played like excerpts, we played Bolero, Handel 11, you know, the standards, Tu Amirum, and this stuff. And then they told us, okay, all these 7 candidates, please come here. We want to... they say in German, leider, wir haben nur ein Kandidat. So suddenly we only have, and you know, when they say suddenly, they wait a little bit. And I was like, okay, it's over for everyone, you know. And when they say suddenly, I was like, okay, goodbye. And then suddenly we only have one candidate, and this is number 35. And I was like, what? 35? Okay. And I was like, okay, what do I have to play? Okay, you have to play this, this, and this. Can I prepare? Because I had to play last round. It was with the trombone section. I remember I had to play alto, and I told them, but can I take the alto? Can I play a little bit? No, 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 no. They are waiting for you in the hall. So they opened the curtain, and they were like, the whole orchestra was on the hall, and my trombone group was on stage. Tuba, Stanley Clark, Vasil Christo from Slokar Quartet, and Justin Clark. And I saw them, and I went out, and all the orchestra started clapping. And I was like, I still didn't play. I was like, okay, thank you, thank you. So we played the choral of Mahler 2, and then we played, what else did we play? I think Schumann 3? I don't remember exactly. Choral of Mahler 2, and then Bruckner 6, I think. We played Mahler 2 and
the chorale at the end.
yeah, and then Bruckner 6 or Bruckner 7. Now I don't remember. And then the conductor, I remember Mario, after we played the choral of Mahler 2, he stand up, said, for me it's okay, for me, good, wunderbar.
Really?
And the orchestra was like, no, but let him play more. They were like, no, we want to listen more. And I remember Stanley Clark, the other solo trombone, he came to me and said like, relax, Tico, just play good, like don't do nothing extra.
Yes.
We want you. And I was like, I played correctly, nicely, and then I wait outside. The orchestra manager came and said, congratulations.
Tico, by the way, all these claps and you knew already people wanted it. Did that make you a little bit more nervous, or it gave you confidence?
Well, I was like, I just wanted to play, want to do it good. But of course, the advice that my colleague Stan gave me before playing was very nice, because he said like, Tico, like, just do it good, like, because you are young and you can see yourself in this situation, like, I come on stage, my section is here, all the orchestra, and then you want to do extra things, and sometimes less is more, so I just play correctly, and it was nice. It was nice.
Would you say a common mistake, for example, in that occasion, would have been maybe playing too loud? Imagine at that point you want to show yourself and then you overplay. Do you think that could be maybe a wrong?
Probably it's like you want to show off. Maybe you want to play louder, or you want to play, I don't know, or like lead, or follow me. Follow me in Instagram.
Of course. People is saying, coge el trombón y deleítanos. Like, take the trombone and play for us. Or leave the wine and play. I guess maybe now it's too late because you are, your neighbors probably will kill you. So.
Sundays in Switzerland is not allowed to do laundry. Sundays in Switzerland is not allowed to listen music. It's not allowed to clean. And I mean, this is like this in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you are Spanish, so pick your.
Well,
no, I'm kidding. I'm
kidding. Probably I will play something later.
Oh, maybe. Well, we all have practice mutes. I have mine over here. That can be a good thing. Somebody's saying all your family is online. Isabel Climent.
Oh, my sister. My beautiful sister.
Oh man, but look, that that experience, it has to be very rewarding because it's not common that you go to a solo competition or to an orchestral audition and the jury is like overwhelmed, and they say, okay, we don't need to judge anybody else. Like I'm sorry, but there's somebody above everybody, or at least they like it. So that's one part. That's the one part which is playing. Did you have any problems during the trial period, or it was kind of the same feeling all over?
Well, during the trial period,
not only playing Tico, I mean also
like
getting along with Justin. And
the social life for me was in Bern was great. Of course, being young, as we before said, you can have always people that likes you and always people that doesn't like you for this or that or the other reason. But I think I had a wonderful time. I think I have a very good colleagues, and being young also it's difficult, to handle, because I didn't have experience. Ricardo, I sat down like in the chair, and on my left side was Vasil Christoph, member of the Slokar Quartet for 25 years. Like what I'm going to say to this guy? Nothing, like he has to help me basically. And my posture basically was like, look, I'm young, I'm here to learn, I'm here to develop, I'm here open, I will give everything. And honestly, I think they saw this, and I think they helped me, and they were like, look, Tico, you have to do this, be careful a little bit with this. My colleagues are Americans, most of them. Only Vasil Christoph is from Bulgaria, and Stan is from Canada, but it's near to America. So and like they told me, look, you have to subdivide more. And I was like, what is this? Spanish people, Italian, we are like, bel canto, we like to sing and to phrase, and the Americans probably they probably like to subdivide everything a little bit more, or they have this tradition, and probably in our education, the solfeggio is something that we study solfeggio, but singing.
Yes, we study, but not really.
Yeah. And this I learned here in Bern. I learned how to subdivide. I learned how to have a strong rhythm, and I learned how to be like strong in this. And also we do opera. I learned a lot about the opera stuff and how to play in the pit. It's a different thing, totally different than being on stage and playing symphony concerts. And I think this also okay, David Gülsenich is saying, nice sweater, Tico. Thank you. This is our concertmeister in Bern, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, David. You are also invited to one of these live podcasts. We don't know personally, but I'm a nice guy, and I need to learn from string players, because Vicente told me that's a very nice thing to know. So
I'm sure we all could learn a lot from this guy. I don't know how many times he was like he actually was in final round for this position, or already won the position, but I think 3 or 4 times.
Wow. No, but that perseverance is also a skill that not everybody. I was gonna say something talking about skills. I know you for a very long time. Lately, we have been more in contact, maybe because of the quartet. That we have a quartet called Cuartito. We don't have much time to meet and rehearse, but we will do something very soon. I promise. Like, I know I have to write a few arrangements and things like that, but okay. Yeah. We were talking about that perseverance is a good skill to develop. Would you say that confidence from a healthy way? I'm not talking about arrogant way. Do you think that confidence in yourself whenever you do an audition, it's important? Do you think you are a confident person, or that's the way maybe you look, or maybe you are?
Well, this is a good question. I probably look very confident for many people, but before this interview, I was asking my friend, what should I wear? Should I wear a shirt, pajama, or this or that? And they were like, "Oh, wear this." Okay, I wear this. So, I'm probably confident because I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And also, about being confident is about knowing you have to decide. As soon as you decide, you are more confident. Some people, they don't decide. They are like, but this I like, but this I also like, but this. But no, you have to say this or that, and take it. This is mine. Boom. I decide this. As soon as you take the decision, you have more advantage from the others or from yourself too. You have less conflict in your mind. You say, I want this, boom, you take it.
And maybe don't be afraid of failing, let's say. Because maybe you take that choice, and maybe at the end it doesn't work, but you learn that lesson. You say, okay, this didn't work, but I did it with confidence, and then let's try this another strategy or do this strategy better.
Yes. I think knowing that doesn't work something, it's positive. I think this is very positive thing. You practice for a certain time something, and then it doesn't work. I'm happy when it doesn't work, because that means that I discovered that doesn't work. And then I do other things. And honestly, I think we shouldn't be afraid about failing. We should do it. It's like Nike, just do it, boom.
Yeah. I always mention this, I've been doing this podcast only for a month, something like that, but still these podcasts are a good example of how the first two podcasts I did in terms of technical stuff were a complete disaster. I didn't know how to use the app, but you try, you do it wrong, and then you write in a notebook, okay, this didn't work. And the same with composing, the same with playing. Yeah. So when you are at that level, like playing principal in an orchestra, and you are young and the rest of the people have experience, I guess your mental health, you need to take care of your mental health. And I'm mentioning this because did sport help you at some point? Because you were saying when I was in Madrid, I was I was doing party all day long. Maybe not all day long, but then you moved to. I know you started to do a sport when you went in Austria. So just tell me a little bit how it works for you.
I think sports is something that helps you mentally and physically, and I always recommend for someone that is preparing for something important to do sports, and to do what you want or what you like. For example, if you like to go play tennis, you do tennis, you don't have to do like running or swimming or cycling or lifting weights, no, it's just do what makes you feel good, and do it in a way that helps you to your preparation, So when I say do sports, I don't say do 3 hours sports during the day. No, I say, look, you could practice from 9 to 10, then have a break, and then practice a little bit more, and then long break. You should do like sport. You should go running, go swimming, go tennis, go to the fitness center, and then come back, take a shower, eat something, and practice. And then go for a walk. It can also be a walk. You can go for a walk, half an hour, 1 hour, 45 minutes. And I recommend like to do sport and to keep healthy, also to eat healthy probably. And now, I'm saying this, and I'm going to prepare now myself again, like in a sportive way, because here during the winter it's hard to, especially now during this period where the fitness were closed. So now that it starts the good weather, I'm going to start doing again sports.
I should do it. I should do it as well because this pandemic meant a lot of extra kilograms.
Yeah.
That's true. And I was gonna ask you, do you consider siesta a kind of sport? Because I do it regularly,
Well, if
and it
you're able
works.
to sleep, yes. If not, no.
Ah, okay, okay. Good advice. Good advice. I was gonna ask you something um regarding these orchestral auditions. I think you can mention maybe just overall, your experience because you were also playing with Santa Cecilia. Maybe you can just tell because when you did that audition, so you don't need to go into details. Just say maybe the main difference is between lifestyle in Switzerland and Rome, because I know that Rome it's a great place. It's a great place if you're a tourist, but how is it living there? I know that, but it also happens here in Madrid or big cities. Like it's expensive for many people. Just
For us, Ricardo, we are very lucky to be in a country that supports and helps, respects, and kind of like want to keep the culture and the musical life a first need, into the life. And I think in Switzerland we are very lucky to be able to have a country that supports in all aspects the musicians. We are covered by like the regulations that, for example, in Switzerland we have a tariff that says that if you play a rehearsal, you get this amount of money. If you play a concert, and in every orchestra in Switzerland, if you go as a guest, you are going to get the same amount of money, you know? And this is something that other countries should learn and should try to understand that we do our job, and this is a profession, and we have to, kind of understand this, and we do this because it's our profession, not it's also our hobby, but we do our living from this. Uh, and it's a very different lifestyle, of course. Bern, it's a very small city, very calm. I live in the city center. I live 2 minutes from the concert hall. I practice there. And, in Rome, you have at least 40 to 45 minutes commune, like to go from one place to another one. It takes you at least 40 minutes. Sometimes you wait 40 minutes.
Is there subway in Rome? Because I knew that it was quite limited because of the historical
Yeah,
buildings.
it's very limited because of the historical things that they are underground. So basically, I think there's one, two, three metro lines. I'm not quite sure, but something like this. So we will see what happens with this. But of course, I'm very happy to be there and to have the position to go and play with them. And I had also very good colleagues there. And from here, I also send a huge hug to
By the way,
everyone.
the second trombone, he's from Galicia. I forgot the name. Can you remind me?
Of
Like
course, Esteban Mendez.
Esteban Mendez. See, you know, Esteban Mendez. When I was studying in New York,
Hmm?
he visited Alessia. I think he took a lesson. I'm not sure. And for a day, I spent some time with him, and he came
Oh,
to one of the low brass class I think we were playing Symphony Fantastique. I'm not sure if I played loud enough, but you know, having Esteban and somebody else there, I was like, you know, I was getting a little bit nervous. By the way, talking about being nervous, many people asked, and for example, I have here a question from Czech Republic. This was through Instagram by Pavel Cicek. Sorry, my pronunciation is awful. What would you advise to control your nerves? Or what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?
I think I also get nervous, and I also sometimes go through nerves, you know. Probably because I'm playing a new piece, or I'm experimenting something that I want to try to see how it works in this situation, and at these times, you know, I feel like nerves. You know, nerves are something good. I always say this: if we know how to drive them, if we know how to focus these nerves, or how to drive these nerves into a good thing, you know.
No, that's true. But do you really get nervous, or?
Yes, I think I get nervous, and I try to bring these nerves into a good thing. So instead of getting nervous and getting collapsed, I try to get these nerves into a focus thing, into okay, I'm nervous. I accept that I'm nervous. This is also what we have to accept, because no, I'm not nervous. Then you are dying. No, you have to say, okay, I'm nervous, and you have to be mentally prepared that probably you are going to be nervous, because that means you care. It's a responsibility, and you care about what you are doing. And I try to bring these nerves into a good thing, Ricardo. I try to practice, you know, this situation a lot. I try to simulate these kind of things, and I try to imagine that I'm getting nervous in this situation and how I'm going to react. What is going to be my reaction? Like overblow, close my embouchure, open my embouchure, move, walk through, play louder, play softer, you know, and it's good to practice this, to experiment.
You know, Tico, if you want later, because there are many technical questions through the chat. Actually, I would say this is one of the times people is participating the most. So I encourage you all to write your questions, because Vicente is here and his experience is very valuable. I encourage you all to, of course, subscribe, share this with your friends so people can get to know Vicente, you know, a guy from Carcassonne that suddenly blew up the internet and and became a very successful trombone player. So in every chat, you know, for example, we had Dany Perpignan, so we talked a little bit about life in England when he was there. We had David Rejano. We talked about traffic in Los Angeles. So something nice about this podcast is that people can get an idea about how life is in different countries. So I wrote down 4 questions. We can just talk about that very quick. And so people get to know a little bit how is culture in Switzerland and how is life, maybe. So it can be a possibility for students. So which are the advantages of the Swiss orchestral system? You said a couple before, and is there any disadvantage that you?
Well, I think it's a very good system, you know. It's very organized, and they have Swiss people. They have many rules, you know, and they have many things, you know, and
you vote a lot. There are referendums every week.
Well, and also another thing is, I think, you know, we are supported by a country that is very neutral, that always doesn't take probably the responsibility to do anything before Germany, France, Spain, and Italy decide, but if we start with this, we get a little bit political,
Yes.
and I
No,
don't want to start with the wait, my computer. Okay, fine. No, maybe I think someone hacker from Switzerland is listening me and wants to turn
yes.
off the
No
the computer.
political stuff.
No, I think it's very organized, and we are very lucky to be like, our orchestra belongs to the Concerttheater Bern, so this is the Staatstheater Bern. So our band symphony orchestra works as a symphony orchestra by itself, but we belong to the state theater. And this is something that I think it can be positive, because as long as we are a huge entity, a huge thing, I think we can do also many things. You can do from family concerts to ballet, opera, operetta, symphony concerts, chamber music concerts, many things, Ricardo. And I think this is something that many of the European orchestras that probably doesn't belong to theaters, they should learn, like to do like family concerts and ballet, and these kind of things. I think also like experiment with new things. In Bern, we do many new operas, many new things,
Do the musicians get to do you have a voice when it comes to choosing repertoire, or that's a
Well, in the orchestra, we have a concert commission, and this is you have people from the orchestra, like from the like. There is some people in the orchestra that they belong to this concert commission, so they choose the program conductors for the next years, with the conductor, and everything is very organized, and yeah, orchestra force.
so the because I have no idea. I just want to ask you, like, so you said your orchestra belongs to state, like,
Okay.
and so, but is it also like semi-private, state founding? Do you have like
Well,
both?
here I think, and excuse me if I say something wrong, but I think 80% of our foundations is from the state, from Bern, from the state of Bern. So basically, the state give money to the theater, and the theater decides we do this, we do that, we do this, da da da, and 20% belongs, let's say, privately. So basically, it's like a public orchestra, I would say.
And
It's
there,
not something private or something like that.
and there is what I heard is that there's the cantonal, right? Is the way it works there is the cantonal, the like the provincias in Spain. It's kind of
Yeah,
the way it works,
it's divided.
but they are quite independent, right? So do
Yeah.
things change too much in between, like one cantonal part or another? Maybe if you are in Bern or you are in Lucerne or you are, like, things
Well,
change.
basically, they can change, and they can basically many cantons they have their own language. Bern is very close to Canton Fribourg, and in Fribourg they speak French,
Wow.
and Fribourg also is very close to Lausanne, and then comes Geneva. In Switzerland, we have a good thing that everything is very close. With 1 hour and a half, you are out of out of the country.
Wow.
And for us is we are also very lucky to be like I am at my place, but in 1 hour I can be in Zurich. In 1 hour I can be in Lausanne. In 1 hour I can be in Lucerne. In 2 hours I'm in Geneva. In 1 hour I'm in Basel. In 1 hour I'm half an hour Fribourg.
Of course.
Everything is very close.
And would you recommend? Because I know, for example, Ian Basfield is teaching there in Switzerland. Like, would you recommend people to study there in Switzerland? Would you give
Well,
them any advice? I mean, regarding, I don't know, accommodation or scholarship or Can you just tell
Yeah.
them what they are gonna find?
I I can highly recommend if they can come to study with Ian or with the other teachers that are in Switzerland. That we have also David Ruche, we have Andrea Bandini, Jacques Moguet. We have so many good teachers. Also, Martin Skippers is in Lucerne.
Vicente Climent.
Well, I'm not teaching officially in a university, but I highly recommend that if they can have the opportunity to come to Switzerland and study with, for example, Ian, this is a great opportunity. Also for myself. And I call him and I say, Ian, can I come and play for you? Yes, sure. And I
But,
go and
but
I play.
by the way,
And
Vicente, I'm not gonna say, I don't wanna say names, all right, but the class in Lucerne, for example, we have one of the members in the class, Alejandro Cantos. He said, Tico, I'm the topo of Bern's president. He wrote that. I was gonna say that even professional people who are playing in orchestras wants to study with
yes.
Ian, and some of them got in the waiting list. Like like
Yes.
like that's a very
That's
it's
why I say like it's honestly it's a quiet country to be. It's a quiet country where you can honestly study, focus, without caring too much about like traffic or like driving or taking the bus or I'm late or is going to. Okay, Switzerland is expensive, but I think the universities here they give scholarships and they help the people. And if not, I also recommend, as soon as you get here, all the Swiss orchestras, they have practicums, they have a scholarship for young students that play with the orchestra.
Mhm.
And I think you can get a practicum and then you can have some money to go on. And you get experience and then you get also like financial support from
No,
this side.
that's very nice. So let's do something, Vicente. Okay, I have a few questions from
Okay.
social media, and maybe we can go now. We're gonna go to more delicate questions like technical stuff, trombone.
Yeah.
By the way, Tico said that maybe he's gonna play. I'm not sure. I cannot ensure that because it is quite late. But Tico, let's do something. I'm gonna play for people. I'm gonna show a video. Yeah. We okay. That's fair. Hey, I could see that exquisite articulation. We're gonna, it's very difficult to compete for me through this interview with any other interview because your last interview was in a parachute.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, and it was with Justin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show them this video so they can see about this.
How do you prepare? The secret is hard work, being always very disciplined, trying to keep every day your routine. Always trying to keep relaxed. And as we are here, like always, the day of the audition, you have to work under pressure. So you have to also practice to be under pressure. When you're in the
Y borrachándome.
Okay, and now as you see, Vicente Climent is only drinking water. He's not taking advantage of these breaks to drink wine. Me neither. I actually have only water.
Well,
We are big friends. Okay, let's go into some questions. One of these questions, this is from Venezuela, Kayson Perez. By the way, if you guys want to ask anything, now is the moment you can do it through the chat. You can support this channel. Well, there is even some description where you can even donate, but no problem about that. This is not about money, it's about Vicente. So One question from Kayson Perez, Venezuela. I think you answered kind of that. How do you control your nerves and anxiety during an audition? Maybe that can be the specific part during an audition.
I would answer that you win the audition before you do it, probably. And I think you should decide before you go to the audition that this is your audition. And as soon as you decide, you you program the computer to go there and do your best. And of course, you can feel nervous. But as I said before, I try to practice these nerves and bring them into a good thing. And people can think, but what is this? No, but what is he trying to sell? No, like trying to bring the nerves into a good thing. Many people would say, but nerves are not a good thing. No?
True.
But nerves can be exciting. Nerves can be, nerves you get when you go, when you are playing a game and you don't know if you are going to win. You are like almost like losing, and then you recover.
When you like somebody, that can be also.
Also, love is also like when you are going to meet new people.
Are you nervous right now, Vicente?
Well, right now I'm very settled. Let's say.
Okay. I have another question by Pavel Citek again from Czech Republic. What would you advise to your younger you?
To my younger me?
Yes.
What should I advised or
yes? What you should have advised to your younger you?
Me. Well, I think good question. No, I think I probably would have taken everything more easy. At the beginning of the, many years, I think 6 years ago, I took everything probably too serious, and to the end of the world, and I played a concert and probably I missed one note and I was like really down, and how can I do this and why? And still nowadays, sometimes I talk to my girlfriend or to my parents or to my friends, but I did this, but why? I think we all should take these kind of things more easy,
Of course.
And we should take it like more relaxed, and we are here to learn, and it's not the end of the world if we are humans. And I talked to my father many times in the car, before the auditions, before the competitions, I talked to him on the phone, and he was like, look what we have in our family, like health problems and these kind of things. This is important. This is something, but music, we are here to give our best, and enjoy and to be like, to give positive things, and no one is perfect. And if someone thinks that he is perfect, this is not like this. So trying to work mentally with these things makes me relax.
Do you do anything apart from sport, like yoga or anything like that, or not?
No, still not. I work a lot mentally, I try to bring good things to my mind, to say like to talk to me, to talk to myself, like say like, okay, Tico, now you are doing this, that you have to organize this and try to calm here and don't worry and focus here, and I think as soon as we talk to us and we look at the mirror, I think everything can go better.
From Portugal, Ivan Vicente, how do you planify your practice sessions today?
Today,
Yes.
well, today is Sunday. Today I have a friend.
Maybe nowadays. Nowadays, like.
Okay. Nowadays, we are still not able to play concerts for people here in Switzerland. So the orchestra it's in semi-lockdown, and I wake up very early, and I have my coffee. I take a shower and I go to the theater. I practice for an hour or something with the stops, with the breaks. This doesn't mean that I practice 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. I do my warm up and then I practice my technical things. Then I probably go for a walk or go buy some do groceries, and then I come back and practice. Then have lunch. Then I walk and then I talk with my friends or do something else. Then I practice a little bit more and I keep in shape and I keep learning new things. I'm learning new pieces and yeah.
And do you have a strict plan? Like I do 10 minutes basic warm up, then I do long tones. How do you planify that more or less?
Well, I don't have a specific time. Like I don't say I have to do 15 minutes warm up or I have to do half an hour warm up, but I have a structure. And this structure says that I have to be able, before I pick up the horn, that my ear or my body is healthy, And this I try to make sure, and you can make sure of this just walking through to the concert hall. Like mentally, you have to say like, okay, I'm going to now play trombone. Basically, it's take air and blow air out. And it's not no this that do the cook and I prepare mentally like going to the theater. This for me is the most stressful time, because I'm already working. When I walk to the concert hall, I'm already thinking, okay, now I'm going to do this ta ta ta, and I was saying I have a structure. That means I make sure that I have my air exercises at least for 1 minute, at least for 30 seconds, at least one thought, at least comes to my mind, at least I remind, little things makes big difference. And then I have my warm up, and in my warm up I make sure that I do sometimes my mouthpiece exercises, sometimes not, depends of the day, depends how I feel, and depends of the warm-up. And then I do the basic things, slurs, flexibility, staccato, scales, arpeggios, range, developing, high register, low register, soft, these we already know, and we have many books for this.
Okay, by the way, you can write down in the chat section where are you from, so we know people apart from Carcassent. By the way, thank you to all Tico's family for being here during the whole chat. So I'm going to read a few things like Agustin, Tico's teacher when he was a teenager. He's saying, hola Vicente, estic tu. Hans Drunen, he's hi Ricardo, I'm Vicente. I'm here, curious. Okay, Isabel Climent is saying, whoa, hola. Buenas noches, dale Tico, Sergio Casado. Hola, grande, many hearts here. I think many people is in love with you, but Tico is already engaged with somebody, so that's not possible. So Salva Calatayud, hello from Carcassent, grande Tico, hola. From Spain we say hello. Hola Ricardo, hola. Salva says Bernard sends you a great hug. Salva Calatayud said Bernard sends you a great hug. Grande Vicente, so everybody's saying that they love you. Okay. Somebody's saying that she's approved that what you did, or he, that what you said about playing for others is true. Is Poulenc. He said, I say what Tico said as a novelist when I played in Bern with him. So I'm not sure who is that person, but maybe somebody who played with you when being an oboist. Okay, Matthew Herman, he's saying, Tico, when is your 2021 swimsuit calendar coming out?
Matthew is basically still our practicant in Bern. Tico, when is your 21 swimsuit calendar coming out? Oh my God, Matthew. And basically we were playing 3 hours ago, we were playing together. We did some sectionals together. And Matthew was our practicant 2 years ago, and also he won the academy for the Gstaad Festival Orchestra. And the last year didn't happen, but I'm gonna probably make it half official. Matthew, you are gonna be next year with us.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Maybe now keep your word so I don't get. Okay, Poulenc says, how does he practice under pressure? Like says when he was gliding with Justin before the interview started.
how did I practice
How
before?
does he practice under pressure?
Well, as I said, for example, today, this morning, I'm here. My friend from Spain, Sergio, is studying in Zurich, and he came this weekend here to practice with me, and and we spend good time together. We are good friends. And this morning we woke up, we had our coffee, and then shower, and then okay, are you prepared? Yes. Okay, let's go to practice. And before we left my place, he was like, "But why are you dressing like a jacket?" And I was like, "Why not? Like like a suit jacket." And I was like, "Why not?" And he was like, "Don't you think this is too? Are you too overdressed?" And I told him, "Look, I'm preparing for a recital I have to do, and I have to play with this jacket. So I have to get the attitude. I have to get used to play with this jacket. So I'm practicing today with this jacket." And then he was like, "Okay." He understood.
That's kind of like actor preparations. Like, for example, if they are gonna interpret a blind person, they maybe for a week they wear
Yeah. Yeah,
something
and honestly, I try to bring all these kind of things into my practice routine. So then I'm like, I feel comfortable. I feel like at home, basically. So if I practice for weeks with this jacket, and the practice sessions were very good, there's no point that when I put the jacket, I feel uncomfortable because I feel like at home.
Okay, we have Ramos Peiro Diego. ¿Con qué boquilla tocáis? Which mouthpiece do you play with?
Right now,
I have to say, Tico is an expert on equipment. Like I think he probably has 300 trombones and 400 mouthpieces.
no, basically, I played all my life. The first mouthpiece I played was a 6.5 AL, Vincent Bach. And from this mouthpiece, I switched to J K, I think J K. And then I played again 6.5, and then 5G Bach, and then 4G Bach. I have to say, I won the job in Bern with a 4G, and also the job in Roma with a 4G.
4G, just 5G.
That's a 5G, yeah. I use many mouthpieces, depending what I have to play or what color or what sound I want to get. I have different mouthpieces for different trombones too.
I think last summer we were talking about playing with 4G. Well, playing with different mouthpieces. And do you think that, of course, I know your answer, but do you think that the bigger the mouthpiece is, the bigger the sound, or it has nothing to do?
Well, of course, if you have a bigger mouthpiece, automatically you will have a bigger sound unless you do something wrong, basically. But the most difficult thing is to have a bigger sound with a small mouthpiece.
Okay. No,
And,
for sure, for sure.
and this is something that I use this as a medicine. I always carry with me a 6.5, and this is a medicament, for my trombone playing, for my amateur, for my ear. And as soon as I feel that, okay, I need to, then I take it, I warm up, I play one day with the 6.5, and then everything compared with the 6.5 seems huge, right?
Yes, that's true.
So I try to do that, and I learned that playing with the alto. For the alto, I use normally a 15C. This is the smallest mouthpiece you can use for the alto.
It's
At
kind of
least
like a trumpet, like a trumpet.
and if you have to play a long piece with the alto, like a Schubert messe or like a Kyrie, and these kind of things that are long, high, and you have to play,
Okay,
then,
sorry.
and then you have to use like these kind of mouthpieces, basically.
Antico, do you think what would you say is better? To say, like you said before, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna choose this equipment, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to adapt to this equipment,
Well,
or a combination between that and then switching to different equipments, or
To tell you like about the decisions, more than a year ago, I decided I was going to come back to the 5G. So because I played for probably 3-4 years just with the 4G, and a year ago I decided I play with the 5G, and I played for more than 1 year just the 5G, and I decide this. And I decide this until the point that I'm like, okay, now I did this, and this. This is good for this, and this, but I want something else. Then you have to experiment, And I also learned this from Esteban Batayan.
yes.
And we
By
were
the way,
playing.
Esteban, I sent him an invitation. He said he would like to, but we didn't set a date. We would love to have you here.
And we were playing in Gstaad, and I remember, we were in the bus traveling to Wiesbaden. We played Brahms one, and he was like, "Look, Tico, I did this mouthpiece with this cup and this backbore, and this I use for this, and I tried this for that, and this rim, and I use this," and I was like, "Oh my God, how someone like with such a big, career can like go from this mouthpiece to this board to this rim to this cup and change, when all the time all the people told me, no, one mouthpiece and play with this and don't change. Why not? We have to experiment, and we have to try, and we have to be open. We have to develop also, and to know that there is not only one possibility. Come on.
Yes, true. Directe Democratie. Tico, what is your goal? Where do you want to play in 5 years? Do you have a dream orchestra? It's kind of the same that you answered before. Maybe you could answer the first one, like, which is your goal?
Well,
And I'm
honest,
gonna say this. Every time I ask these questions to somebody during the podcast, people say things like, I want to be a better person every day and
Okay.
grew up as a human being. But if you had a dream, for example, I'm gonna tell you my dream. Like for me, I would like to, I don't know, like be a big composer and write music for big artists and conduct my music, even write music for movies. It's something that is not here, it's very far away, but I see little by little that's kind of my goal. So
and
what would you say?
let me tell you, Ricardo, that you are doing an amazing job with what
Oh,
you're doing, honestly.
no.
And you are adapting the composing, the playing, the performing, and everything into the new generations. And this is something that we all have to learn, you know.
Well,
Didn't have a computer until 1 year ago, basically. You know. So returning back to the question, my my goal, musically speaking, would be to be part. Okay, I'm gonna be very direct, and I'm gonna be very honest with all the people that are watching. My goal really would be to belong to an orchestra that has a very strong tradition, would be to offer and to like give and apport, like offer basically my ideas, my way of playing, my good things, and to join a group and to develop and create and be part of the history of brass playing, basically. I think
I think
we
I know. I think yes.
I think we are all here for a reason, you know, and I think we all have our time, you know, and I think I would love to be part of this, you know, and I would love to give all my heart for this.
I think I know. I know what you are saying. I know what you're saying. No, I also would like to be a principal tromboner, but I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it. You know, like
We will see. We will see. You know, the process is it's long. Is not just the thing I want to be or I want to be the just the it's not about this. I'm just this is dedication. You know, and I love to
yeah.
wake
I
listen. I love to wake up listening the Mahler symphonies, the Bruckner, the Shostakovich. Today we woke up with César Franck, Second Symphony, and I was like, what is this? You know, and Sergio was like, what do you think? Like typical, you know, he's not going to say immediately, no, this is this. No, he was like, what do you think? And I was like, okay. Sounds like Shostakovich. No, it's French. French? And then we're like, yeah, French, but César Franck. Okay.
okay. I understand. You know, many people is retiring in big orchestras all over the world, especially in America as well. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Tico, which is your favorite seat music?
My favorite what?
Solo piece.
My favorite solo
You
piece.
you could say your favorite orchestral piece and your favorite trombone solo piece.
I would say, it's so difficult for me to say this is my favorite orchestral piece because, oh my God, when I think about the music, I cannot say, I cannot, I cannot say it's first symphony of Brahms or the second or the third or the fourth, or I cannot say it's a Mahler symphony or a Bruckner symphony or like Schumann or
Okay, I give you. You can say three. Just say
okay,
three.
okay, three. I would be very, very like, I would say
Bluebells of Scotland.
I would say Brahms one. This would be the first thing. And Brahms composed this in tune, in Switzerland.
I thought you were saying in tune, like with intonation. Okay.
He composed this in Switzerland. Brahms one would be one, and then would be, I think, Mahler six.
I love that one.
Mahler six, and okay, Leningrad, Shostakovich seven.
That one is rock and roll actually.
Yeah.
People is saying you are doing it great. Máquinas, motivación a tope. Salzburg is the best. Greetings for you both. You both are gold. Somebody's asking me, "Hey Ricardo, did you finish the new piece?" I'm writing a new concerto, which I will send you the part and you check it out, like for new concerto for two trombones. No, I didn't finish it, but I will finish it very soon. I'm writing all day long, actually. Very excited. Salva Calatayud, what would you recommend for a 7-year-old trombone lover?
Well, this is my youngest student, and he's 7 years old. He came this Christmas to my place in Carcaixent, and I recommend to have a lot of love from the very beginning, to love the instrument at itself. Like, it's a beautiful instrument, and at the beginning, play, enjoy, and diviértete.
What do you think that is? Okay, I'm gonna change the question. Which advice would you give to a teacher that teaches young trombone players?
Well, I would say try to give them all the love that your first teacher gave you, because we all had a first teacher in our life, and probably this first teacher was the most important, probably, or the biggest motivation, or the biggest the thing to continue. And I would say try to give as much as love as you can from the very beginning, and try to make it as a game, as a play, as a hobby, as something that is fun, and something that we want to do it. It's not that we have to practice trombone. No, I want to practice the trombone.
I would say that, especially nowadays, that because, for example, if you think maybe about the 50s, 60s, 70s, etc., and especially here in Spain, that there's a huge tradition of wind bands and this kind of music. It was quite easy to get the attention of young, like teenagers and people who want to join the wind band or be part of this music community. But nowadays there are many things in between people can choose. Like, okay, I have games, I have like computer games, I have PlayStation games, I have sport, etc. So I think one of our challenge would be to make young people love music first, and then of course you can go farther and start teaching them like how to breathe, but that's secondary. Like the first would be, okay, I'm gonna make this 7-year-old guy love music, so then maybe in the future he has his own.
I would say a sentence in Spanish that I want you probably to translate it later in English, but I want that if everyone is listening right now, I want you to really pay attention to this sentence. Enseñar la belleza significa salvar al mundo.
Teach the beauty means saving the world, right?
Okay, and we have to nowadays keep this sentence in our mind, because we have to teach the beauty to save the world.
No, that's true. And music is beauty, actually.
Yeah.
Alejandro Prieto, Vicente, eres un fenómeno, con y sin trombón. Saludos para los dos y enhorabuena por los podcasts. Gracias, Alejandro. People is saying bravo. People like the interview. People from, I know Inot, I think he's from Lithuania. Okay, another question. Thoughts on high range and embouchure? Greetings from Czech Republic.
Well, I try to develop a one position embouchure that covers or try to covers as much as range as possible. That means we try to have one embouchure, and with this one embouchure we are able to travel through the whole range without doing extreme movements or without changing too much, you know. Of course, we have to move because it's not possible to play a high D, same position as the low D. This is for sure, but we have to be able to connect them, you know.
You know, I'm gonna play a video of you practicing. I think you did an online masterclass playing ta 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 ta. I'm gonna show that video so it's easier to understand what he's talking about. Okay, guys, what do you think? I think is that high enough? I think that's a good thing. By the way, Vicente, when you work on maybe not only high register but everything, do you try go, because that's something that I do and actually helped me a lot, which is thinking on basic concepts. For example, sometimes I see people saying, because, for example, you are playing something wrong and you tell the student, you're playing, you need to blow faster, or you need to think bigger, or you need to use more air, or you need more tension, pressure, strength. And at the end, none of these six terms mean the same. So at some point, I just try to eliminate those terms that don't help me. Like, for example, I don't know, you need to be more tense. And I try to simplify things like when you play higher, air goes faster. When you play lower, air goes slower. And little things like that. So do you try to go back to physics, to little concepts?
Well, I think the physics are very important, and it's very important to understand the physics, but I think natural things are even more important. And I realized this with the very, very, very young students, that they pick up the horn and play, you know. Natural. They don't overthink about what should I do. And also, for example, like I remember, for example, Dany telling me, like, think about, you are sitting in the chair of your wind band and you are going to play paso doble. To play paso doble, you know, it's party, it's you are with your friends. You don't overthink about this or that. You just go with the music, with the flow, and play. And these kind of positive thoughts help to just like make things easier, I think. But of course, if we are in a very, you know, for other students, some people need to understand this physics, and it helps, because I realized this with some students. I say, okay, try to do this. Try to think the articulation, not here. Try to think it there. Try to think it 30 meters away. Then actually the sound travels more, projects more. So you are not just here, you are there.
Pau Job, how was your preparation for the orchestral audition that you won? Maybe I think you answered kind of that question before, but
also Pau, he knows me since long time, and he came to play for me many times, and he's working a lot, and he will have a good career, and I'm sure he will do good job. I'm sure.
Okay, Pau, un saludo para ti. Sandro Di Carlo, the teachers you learned the most from and who most marked you as a musician?
Well, the teachers I learned the most would be, first of all, Agustin Martinez. Also, I don't want to forget Enrique Ferrando, a big name from our country, from my city, Carcaixent. Also, Elias Hernandez, of course. Cotoli also was in the conservatoire. Dany Bonvin.
Carlos, maybe Carlos,
Ah,
Dani,
sorry,
Indalecio.
Carlos Gil, Indalecio Bonet, Juan Carlos Matamoros. As I said, I was lucky that my parents invested, like giving me the opportunity to have lessons and master class with many teachers. And as I said, I had many teachers, but I would say probably Elias, Dany Bonvin, and Ian Busfield, I would say.
Who is your favorite trombone player?
My favorite trombone player? Wow. My favorite trombone player? Well, it would be a big mistake to just say one name. I would say 5. Well, no. Okay, no. I have the name. No. Yes. I think my favorite trombone player is Michel Bequet, I think.
Michel Bequet. Now, I have to say, when he performed my concerto for 2 trombones, when he premiered that, back then I think people was saying like, Michel Bequet, he stopped playing, he's not playing anymore, and he nailed it. Like he didn't do a single mistake, and everything like in tune, like everything with the music that he serves. So
For me, I think it's, as I said, it's difficult to say just one name, but I think as the experience and as the tradition, Michel Bequet did very good things and has very special sound. But
okay.
I could say also Joe Alessi, I could say Ian Basfield, I could say Jacques Moguet, I could say all these legends.
Yes. For example, talking about other trombone players, is there any trombone players that you've heard live or in a CD that you say, okay, I'm never gonna be able to do this? Because sometimes you listen to somebody doing a musical phrase and you're like, I love it, but you see like maybe I can do it, but sometimes you listen to, I don't know. It happens to me with James Markey sometimes that I listen to him and I like.
I mean, I forgot to mention Christian Limber, of course. I forgot, but he has been a big reference for all of us. And probably, as you said, sometimes I listen things that he does that I'm not going to be able to do this because it's, it's probably from another planet.
Okay. There are no more questions in the chat. So we've been talking for about 2 hours. Like, time flies, actually. If you want, I've never done this before, but I'm gonna just send you a few questions, right?
Yeah.
And it needs to be kind of short answer, okay? For example, favorite meal.
Paella.
Okay. Favorite country to do tourism.
Italy.
Favorite trombone CD.
Michel Bequet, Bluebells of Scotland.
Okay. favorite conductor you've worked with?
Jaap van Zweden.
Okay, this question, you can answer it because I asked this to Ian Bousfield, and he said, for example, Chicago in the 80s. So I'm gonna ask you the same. Which is your dream job? You can go to the past.
Well, my dream job. How many times did you ask me?
No, okay. Can you tell me which is your favorite orchestral recording?
Okay. I would say Budapest Festival Orchestra, Brahms 1.
Okay.
You can find on Spotify, Hungarians, and Budapest Festival Orchestra with Dvorak 9. Budapest Festival Orchestra with Ivan Fischer, Dvorak 8. Oh my God, these Hungarians, they can play Hungarian music very well.
Okay, favorite trombone book?
Trombone book? Like you mean
Bach or Bodoni or?
Favorite trombone book? I would say Slokar collection.
Non-musician that you really admire?
Non-musician. I would say my father.
Your father. I think this is a great way to finish this podcast.
Well, my father and my mother, of course.
Of course. And your brother.
My sister.
Your sister. Sorry. So, Tico, it was a pleasure to having you. I'm sure most of us we've learned a lot from your experience and also from your way of expressing things through, love for music, and I can see you look also quite confident when you say these things. I hope soon we can see each other. We can play with the quarter or just go to the bakery here in my hometown.
But I would love to do that.
And eat some ensaimadas. For everybody who was listening for the entire podcast, we were at least 50 people at all time. We were up to 80 people at some point, which is like many people were listening to what you were saying. I encourage you all to share this video with your friends, even if they don't play brass instruments. They can share it with viola players as well, so they can learn a little bit. No, just kidding. Also, feel free to subscribe, to share this channel with your friends, to propose who you want to be in our next podcast. I have to say we have a few next guests, such as Ben Van Dyke. We have also Nitzan Harros, principal trombone of Philadelphia, and many others that will come, and we will learn from them. Man, Tico, if you want to say anything to the audience that is listening to you.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Ricardo, for the opportunity to be here, and of course it was my pleasure to share with you and with all the people all these experiences. And I think this is something that I think we have to keep these, like to share with people experience, because I think it's very important. And thank you again for organizing all this podcast and all what you are doing, because you are doing something that will remain for the history of music and history of trombone. And this is something that I admire, and I respect, and I think it's something really big, man.
Okay, I'm sending you the money
No.
for for what you say. But thank you, really.
I think it's a very good thing, and we all have to learn from this.
Okay, thank you. I have to say that if people are interested, not every day, but almost every day, I compose live. Of course, those videos are not as successful as this one, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the composer life is exciting, but at the same time very boring, because you are just putting note by note. But you can see the process and how composers also need some support sometimes, because our life is very lonely. Okay, Tico, I encourage you all to follow Tico in his social media. Feel free to contact him through them in case you want to learn from a closer perspective, have an individual lesson, or just meet him. I'm sure he will answer, and he's a person to know, because he did something very complicated nowadays, which is not only making a finals, but being successful in more than one orchestral audition, which is kind of like winning the lottery. And I think we won the lottery today having you here. Okay, bye bye, Vicente, and see you